Hi, how are you doing, Adrija?
I'm doing well. And what about you?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Before we begin, just let me know if you could see me and can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can see you and hear you proper. It's all right.
Perfect, perfect. And I see you and I hear you crystal clear. You don't have any, let's say, background noise coming in, like shh,
No, no, nothing.
okay, perfect, perfect. Now we can continue. So it's finally nice to meet you, and I wanted to ask a couple of questions before we begin our lesson today. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So some of my questions would be just about why do you go on to Cambly, or what are your goals with Cambly in general stuff, just so that I can get a feel for what you need from the system.
Sure. Actually, basically, first time I saw Cambly on YouTube, and I thought it was a pretty cool app. Like, I never
Mhm,
thought that I could talk with someone from different parts of the world just by sitting
mhm,
in my home. So that
mhm.
was that I think the idea is so cool and so great. So I decided to come here. Actually, it was also my parents' idea. They told me, to join this app. Of course, it is going to improve my English a lot. Then another thing is that I have a YouTube channel as well. So I love posting
Mhm.
videos, and I am recently posting a lot of English related videos. So I thought Cambly would be the perfect app for me. Yeah, for these two reasons.
Right, right. Yeah, I went into your YouTube channel and I saw that you started by teaching katak videos. That was pretty cool.
Thank you.
And maybe you could tell by the makeup of my face that I do have Indian roots myself.
Hmm.
Although I do come from Canada, my grandparents were from India, and
Oh
they had
wow.
moved to Canada. So my parents were born there. I was born there. I can still speak Hindi though. But if you ask me to read or write in Hindi, I'm sorry.
Oh, so how many languages can you speak?
At the moment, I'll say I can speak three to four. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Mhm.
So where are you living currently?
So right now I'm living in Indonesia. This is in Southeast Asia. I'm teaching over here. That's my day job, or at least the thing I need for visa. But don't tell the university I said that.
Okay, so where in Indonesia? Because I went to Indonesia once and I have only been to Bali.
Right, right. Yeah, everybody goes to Bali. Bali is one of the most famous places. In fact, it's so famous people don't know Indonesia, but they know Bali. I'm in this city. It's called Makassar. It's not a big city. It's a small city. And what I really like about this city, it's very cozy. It's not like, huge like Jakarta and has
Hmm.
traffic jams. No, there's no traffic jams here. And it's a coastal city, so you can kind of enjoy beautiful beaches if you just take a quick little boat ride. There are lots of private islands. Well, sorry, not private islands, public islands, small little public islands around the city, and you can get crystal clear blue or green water. You can go snorkeling, you can try fishing, and you can also eat fresh fish from the sea every day.
That's so great. So have you
Mhm.
ever went to Bali?
Yes, yes, I have visited Bali twice. I really did like it, but to me personally, I think there are a lot better places in Indonesia than just Bali.
Mm,
Or some
Actually,
places,
Bali
this
is
may be,
just famous a lot.
it is. Or it may sound a bit controversial, but I think there are places better than Bali itself. Now, the reason why I say this is not because of facilities, because the Bali, like facilities in Bali are just amazing. But what I'm talking about is like Bali is overcrowded with tourists, right?
Hmm.
And that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. When there's a lot of tourists, most people speak English. It's very easy to access services. Things are mostly at an international level, and they need it to be so that they can earn money from it. Problem is, so many tourists may dirty the environment. For example, you may see that beaches on Bali, although they do a fantastic job of keeping it well maintained, sometimes yeah, and the water is not as clean as it used to be. So if you would like, I could show you some pictures from Google, of course, of an area that I consider to be better than Bali, at least the beaches, right?
Sure, sure. You can show me because I love traveling.
Awesome, awesome. Then that makes the both of us. So I'm going to show you this regency or area in Indonesia. It's called Raja Ampat, and it's not that far away from Bali, actually. Well, it's closer to Papua than it is, to Bali. Okay, so this is the screen share, and you can see what's amazing is they have like this collection of cute little islands surrounded
Wow.
by big islands too. And
Yeah.
yes, naturally forming heart shape.
Wow.
hmm hmm And there are areas where they have huts, like standing on top of stilts, like
Hmm.
those little pillars that go into the water, just like in Maldives.
Yeah, in
Mm.
Maldives. It looks a little bit like Maldives, those villas.
It does. So, but this regency is actually a little bit bigger than Maldives. Maldives is very small, or I should say, it's very adorable. But yeah, see how clean this water is. This is what I
Gorgeous.
like about Raja Ampat. Or this is kind of what Bali used to be, or at least the places where it's heavily visited. The water isn't as clear as it used to be, but if you go a little bit outside, you can also find very beautiful, clear water beaches in Bali as well. No problem. But here it's practically untouched. So upside, very untouched. You can enjoy the islander lifestyle and then some. Downside, English wise, you may struggle just a little bit. The
Hmm.
locals aren't the best when it comes to English, or that's also the case for me here in Makassar. When I first came here, I was faced with a very harsh reality that I had to learn Indonesian, otherwise, I won't live. Um, but yeah, I managed to learn Indonesian. It's not a very difficult language, it's quite easy to
Hmm.
pick up because the phonics and reading is very straightforward. Quite the opposite from English. Because
Mhm.
sometimes you would be looking at words and you're like, I think it's supposed to be Ike. It's like, no, 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 it's ice. Oh, and this is Island? No, 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 that's island. Wait. But over
Right.
here, like A is A, B is B, C is C, D is D.
Okay, that's good.
There are no tricks involved. So it's very straightforward to learn. And grammar is also quite easy to pick up here, unless you go into like high level academic Indonesian, which you really won't be needing. Uh, yeah, like if you speak super high level academic Indonesian, you will confuse the Indonesians as well.
Okay.
They're gonna be like, "Bro, we don't use those words." It's like, "Oh, okay, mistake that I made." So
Hmm.
then I started learning, yes, official academic Indonesian, but also Indonesian from the streets.
That's good.
hmm That's
So where
my
were you
side.
before? Like before Indonesia, where did you live?
Okay, so before I tell you this, let me share a little bit about my just my travel philosophy. A lot of people, what happens is whenever weekends come around, like long weekends or vacations, they would take a week or 2 week trip to some destination. Great, but I don't think it's good enough. Like if you want to tour a different country or learn their culture, try their food, a week or two is not enough. So what I do is this. After I'm done teaching at one destination, I will pick a number of countries, maybe 5 or 6, and I'll stay in all of them 1 month each, just to kind of get the feeling of the vibe there. And whichever country I like the best, then I apply for work there. I get my working visa, which allows me to stay there for a couple of years, 2 years minimum, and I think that's perfect for really slowly enjoying a country.
That's such a
Uh,
great idea.
Yes. So before Indonesia, I was in the Middle East, in UAE, United Arab Emirates. I was in Dubai. I was teaching there for 4 years. And prior to that, my first destination, and this was against the advices of many, I actually went to Pakistan.
Okay.
And so people are like, Pakistan? Why would you go there? Is that even safe? And so I was like, no, how bad could it be? It's right next to my home country, India. They're basically our neighbors. Um, so walking into that country, I did have some like negative perceptions about the country. Not like really really negative, but like something like I don't know how it's gonna be. Like, will I have the same kind of quality of life that I have in Canada? Of course, it's gonna be different from Canada. At least you don't get to freeze to death in Pakistan. No, you don't freeze to death in Canada either. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But when I arrived there, and this is what I love about traveling, because it opens up your mind to different realities. You get to see different versions of the world that you may have never thought about, and it will just blow your mind. Some of the best experiences that I had in Pakistan was actually right in the beginning. They didn't let me spend any money, the people there. And it went something like this. This was the first month I was in Pakistan, and I went to the markets. I like buying traditional clothing wherever I go. So I was getting like that cap, and everywhere I went, and they're like, "Oh no, you are my guest. This is my gift to you." I was like, "What?" I go to a restaurant and I eat the food. I want to pay for my food, and like some random group of guys, they had already paid for my food. So automatically, you will have to become friends. And yeah, they take me around to like really amazing places. I had a lot of fun in those 2 years, and I learned one thing for sure. There's a lot of weird politics between our countries, but at heart we are all the same. Both
That's right.
like both love chai.
Hmm.
Yes, and whether you call it pani puri or golgappa, yeah, we love that stuff too,
That's true,
right?
absolutely.
and and so yeah, after traveling for a lot of like in lots of countries in Europe, I haven't been to Africa yet, but I wish to visit Mauritius very very soon once I'm done with Indonesia. Mauritius is on the visit list as well as Turkey. So yeah, I've been in Asia, I've been in Europe, of course in South America as well. And so just meeting so many different people, learning about their cultures, a little bit of their language,
Hmm.
and the best part, their food, has been the main reason why I chose to be an English teacher. Of course,
That's
and to teach people English. Yeah, let's not forget that.
yeah. Okay, so I actually went to Mauritius and it is a pretty nice place, I'd say. But I
Mhm.
also would love to visit Turkey once because I have seen a lot of videos and it is so gorgeous.
Yeah, and the people are just amazing. Around 60 to 70% of all of my students are from Turkey,
Oh.
so they advertise heavily. They're like, "Yeah, Peter, you gotta come to this place. You gotta try that.
Hmm.
You no, come to this place and try that. No, come to my city." So I was like, okay, I have a lot to visit when I go to Turkey. I may need 2 months.
Hmm,
Minimum.
that's right.
Yes, and so it's great. And moving on from traveling to English, is there an area in English that you struggle with? For example, some people struggle with vocabulary, or some people just struggle with fluency. Is there something that you are struggling with?
Oh well, I do sometimes struggle with vocabulary. I mean, I read a lot, so I have a lot of good words in my brain. But when I am going to speak them out, I just forget it. That doesn't mean
Right,
that I don't have a good list of words. I do have it, but when
right.
I'm trying
It's
to
just
speak
on
it
the
out,
tip of your tongue. It's not coming out,
yeah,
right?
it just doesn't come
Mm.
out. After the conversation, I just remember that oh, I could have used this word. Why didn't I use that? So it
Right, right.
happens like that a lot.
So in English practice, there are lots of games meant for vocabulary or speaking to help reinforce these weaknesses. One such game, and we have about 1 minute, unfortunately, but I'll tell you this game really short. You probably maybe you know it. It's called the word game. The basic rule is that one person starts the game by stating a word in English. Let's say apple, because A is for apple, always, right? And then the rule is for the next word needs to follow the last letter of the first word. So E is the last letter of apple. I need to give a word with E. So let's say I say each. And then it comes to your turn, H. So you got to say horse. And I'm putting this all in the chat. And so you continue doing this. After 15 minutes, you will be rid of all of the easy words you remember. After 30 minutes, you'll start using the words like midway. And
Mm,
above 30 minutes, you start using those words that you have practically forgotten. So it
mm.
helps always reinforce your English and keeps it strong.
That's right.
Useful
Thank
when
you
you're
so
getting
much.
into conversations.
Yeah, I try to play it with my friends sometimes.
Ah, that's great. Yeah, I highly encourage that. Especially if you add a reward at the end, like the winner gets the chocolates.
Hmm. That's true.
Mhm.
Much more exciting.
Is our time, unfortunately.